Abaru, Abuye, Abushishe, to all the Awos out there. Also, Alafia to all the new people who are coming into Ifa who are listening as well. Kabiesi Shango to all the fellow Shango practitioners out there. And Ogunye Moye on this Ogun Day today. Um, so we have here, my host, my co-host here, Orisha Bami, Jagun Shango USA. And this show, the Isese Post, is also sponsored by the Balagoon Shango office. Orisha Bami, man, what's going on, man? Talk to me.
Haboro, Boye, Abo, Shishe, peace and blessings, family. What's good, man? Chilling. Welcome to Get It In on the Post, man. Post been out there posting up some things, man. Hey, Post out there posting it. Doing big things, man. Big things, Rude Wide. Big things, man. See?
Oh yeah. For sure, man. We've been getting a lot of good feedback out here, man. How you feeling about that?
Man, I love it. Like yeah, it's amazing, brother. It really is because you never know when you have a venture or an endeavor or some type of goal or vision or something that you want to do. And one thing that I'm guilty of, and I feel like there's a lot of other people who probably are too, is like not really taking the chance to start things. You know what I'm saying? Like just going ahead and just jumping into making it happen, or at least making the effort to do things. So the way spirit was on me with this particular vision for creating a lighthouse, which was, I feel like, inspired by Oloye Baba Ifa Kerede. He played a major role in that by challenging me, and then just putting forth the not just the challenge, but like the vision of it as well, of something that we need for our community, for our culture. So it was like I wanted to do it as soon as it came, but I didn't feel like I was ready for it. And even when it started, I didn't feel like I was ready. But now, I feel like something I've always seen that's been repetitive in my life is that when you put forth the effort, the creator will make it happen. You know what I'm saying? Like the creator will definitely give you the assistance, the guidance, or open up the road, the path, or whatever it is to achieve whatever you're trying to accomplish, as long as you do the work, to get it started. And so I feel like that's what's happening with the Isese Post, and that's what's happening with Ashe. Because the alignment it's been amazing, brother. So yeah, I'm feeling great. I'm ready to get it in, man.
That's awesome, man. And we've been having some really good episodes, man. And I'm glad that we're getting feedback that we are. There's a lot of people who are tuning in and gaining knowledge and even complimenting with insight on certain things as well. So I'm really excited about that, and we appreciate everybody who is tuning in to pay attention to what's going on as well. And also shout out to those who have followed the Isese Post Instagram as well. And y'all have really tapped in the Isese community. And, we appreciate you all, men and women. It's not just a bunch of men out here trying to get information, but, the women as well, shout out to y'all, we definitely appreciate it.
I said, yeah, that's real. Shout out to the mothers, the queens, because we definitely been graced with their presence, and I'm excited about that. And we definitely have some more feminine energy coming, to the Ashe neighborhood as well, man. So I'm definitely looking forward to the queens and the sisters coming through, sharing their Ashe, and giving us that Aj, that real good feminine energy in terms of balance. And so I can't thank them enough as well. So yeah, and I give thanks to everybody as well for supporting, for supporting the channels on socials and on YouTube, like, because that motivates us. You know what I mean? Like Baba Kerede was saying on last episode, is that he doesn't come on here to talk to people. He comes on here to talk with people. And so even though we might not necessarily be on the live stream, the comments, to me, it feels as if it's the same thing, because we're still able to get that one-on-one engagement, or that feedback, or what I mean, whatever it is, or the questions, because those things help us to prepare to put out more content and more shows that's pouring into the community and feeding the community. And that's what we're all about. That's what we're here for.
Sure. Great, man. Well, I said, it's been a blessing, and in the last conversation that we had, I believe that we talked about the how powerful the Egungun was. And since that conversation, man, I've been doing a lot of Egungun work. There you go.
Crazy. Listen, the energy, man. Hey, it's alignment. Cause I was
Yeah, so,
I was doing the same thing, bro.
it's been a lot of, a gung work, since we had that conversation. So, I man, when you have conversations about things, especially pertaining to the gung, they're always listening. So it's like if you're gonna talk about them, they're gonna bring you closer.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So yeah, man, there's been a lot of gung work done, and also Ori.
Mm, sure.
Ori has been major. Um, I definitely, want to talk more about that as well. Since Ori is so prevalent this year,
Mm-hmm.
especially on these O'Shea 5 days, feeding Ori is major for us, this year. So,
Mm,
mhm.
I share. Well, I know normally, you're the one asking the questions because you are the host of the post. But
Of
if you
course.
don't mind, man, I got a couple of questions that I would like to ask you today. It kind of falls in perfect alignment with what you already opened up with. But it's some questions that I've been seeing and hearing different people talk about, and I felt like the dynamics that we have with the energy exchange through the dialogue we have, on the post. I feel like you would be the perfect person to ask these types of questions too. So if you don't mind, man, I definitely like to run a
Hey,
few up by you, man. I like to run a few by you.
come
So
on.
yeah, and you know what? Before I even do that, I want to do something too because I believe in authenticity, and I believe in being real and transparent with people. But I want to give a shout out to you, and I want to commend you on not only the work that you do within yourself and on your journey, but the work that you do within your family and within the community. Because the people see what we do on the Isese Post, but they don't see what we do, with our families and in the community. And
Yeah.
so I've been able to see that in terms of some of the work that you do on that level. And to me, it's impressive, and I salute it. I got the utmost respect for it, and I appreciate it. And another thing I'm gonna say is that I'm going to start to make it a point to try to shift the narrative with how Black men deal with each other. And so, with that, the things and the qualities that you are, I want to say on the show that I love you, brother. I appreciate what you do. I appreciate you being who you are and what you do because we need more brothers out here like you. So, that's something that I like to do. I like to give people their flowers and, what I'm saying, like just to let people know for real how I feel, in terms of the people who I deal with. So, with that, I had to kind of throw that out there. It's on my spirit, man. But when it comes to people who weren't raised in a tradition or no matter what the religion is or what the spiritual system is or none of that, because there's a lot of people who, their parents or their family don't have really like a home, or a straight path to God. So, and I've been dealing with and communicating with people who kind of feel in this particular space. They don't really know, they know there's a God, they know that there's, a higher power, but they really had no training, no coaching, no cultivating, no nothing. They just kind of had to fend for self. So with us and having the path that we've had, and yours has been more direct in alignment straight with Ifa than mine was. However, Ifa found me and put me on the path. But how would you describe or share like a step-by-step roadmap for a person who really doesn't have a true faith system and how they can kind of learn to develop a true relationship with the great God in heaven? How would you, excuse me, like how would you coach or mentor someone who they know there's a God, but they don't have any like no relationship whatsoever, no books, no nothing. But they know there's a God and they see the Isese Post and they're like, yo, I kind of like what these brothers are talking about, but how can that help me?
Oh man, that's an awesome question. So for me, one thing that I would say is it starts off with intention.
Hmm.
Check your intention first, because when you talk about dealing with with God and the Most High, you're also talking about dealing with your ancestors as well. So it all starts with intention, as far as what you want to accomplish. how you think about yourself, how you think about others, how you talk about others. All of that plays a part. Um, what are you willing to sacrifice? As far as dealing with the Most High. Is it going to be a one-way street as you're praying to God? Like, what does that look like for you? A lot of people don't think about that aspect. As being an Ifa, or just praying to God. Period, man. Like, we have to check. We have to check exactly what we want to accomplish, because it has to be a two-way street.
Mm.
It can't just be one way. We're constantly asking, okay, well, I want this and I want that and I want this. But at the same time, it's like, okay, well, if you want it, what are you willing to sacrifice?
Mm.
Everything that we want comes with great sacrifice.
Mm.
Period, point blank. So that's one of the first things, man. So look at your intention. Then your intention falls into your prayer.
Mm.
And if you're gonna pray, don't worry. And if you're gonna worry, don't pray.
I like that. I like that.
So that was something that was, taught to me, man. Like, if we're gonna deal with the Most High, but it goes back to intention. If you're worried about certain things, man, then you don't really believe.
Mm.
You don't believe the things that you're saying because you're worried.
Mm.
So it's like, what are you really coming for?
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like, what are you praying for? So we have to think about that and really check exactly what we want. Look at that two-way street. Look at that intention. Stop worrying and do what we need to do. If
Mm.
you believe that God and your ancestors will help you, then let them help you. Be willing to sacrifice. All of it plays a part. And the same thing goes for just everyday relationships. You know, you can't just ask somebody for something and not expect to give back to that person.
Mm.
You know,
Facts.
so we have to think about, as we're dealing and praying to God. It's like, okay, well, how would I treat people in my everyday life?
Mm.
So those are the first three steps when it comes down to finding who God is and believing in what you pray for.
Mm. I sure. That's what's up. So I think that's an excellent answer to really, like, I feel like, kickstart or jumpstart, the process, especially for somebody who takes it serious. And I think, at this point in time, there's a lot of people who are leaving traditional faiths, especially here in the Western culture. There's a lot of people who are leaving the church homes and leaving Christianity and leaving, the Abrahamic type of spiritual systems or religions. And, I remember going to have a physical, I think like maybe 3 weeks ago. And it was something that I had to do for work, or my old work anyways. But I had to follow up or whatever. But the doctor who was seeing me, she kind of, I guess, I don't know, something about the energy or whatever. She asked me a few questions in terms of, I guess, like consciousness. And so, I answered them, but she was like, I just kind of felt you had something about you. I was like, I appreciate it. But I told her, I said, well, I have a YouTube channel, where I kind of talk about it. And so she was like, okay, cool. So she was asking, like, do y'all have get-togethers and ceremonies? I was like, yeah, we have bimbays and, celebrations all the time. I said, and I'm going to be posting them on the channel. I said, so you're more than welcome to check the channel out, and, and you'll get access to not only the information for the ceremonies and the get-togethers and the bimbays, but also, we share a lot in terms of spirituality. I was like, so, that within itself, if you're really interested, feel free to follow. So I'm not sure if they did or not, but either way it goes, there's been a lot of conversations that I've had with people who were in a similar light. Like, they're not really feeling like they're getting results from the faith systems that they were raised in or the faith systems that their parents practiced. So now they're kind of wanting to explore into something that they feel that really fits them, or I guess that resonates within them. So the question that I have with all that being said, is once a brand new devotee comes into this particular spiritual system in this faith, how can they see, or like how long will it take before they see what would be considered tangible results as to, you know, them applying themselves and taking the steps to learn and grow in the process of devotee of Ifa and Isese?
Oh, well, sometimes things can happen overnight.
Mm,
You know what I mean? Like there can be overnight changes.
yeah.
You know, sometimes it could take a while. You know, and now that we're in the microwave era where
Mm,
everyone wants quick results. Um, we have to really be mindful, man, that you have to let spirit work, but also, as you step into Ifa, like I said, it's all about your intention.
mm,
It all goes back to intention.
right.
You know what I mean? Like, and some people may be fearful stepping into Ifa as well. But at the same time, like I said, if you're going to worry, don't do it.
Mm,
You know what I mean? Like we go as Ifa practitioners, we do everything head on
mm,
because we believe. So at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. Um, certain things can definitely, happen overnight, but it's all about your faith within what you're doing.
mm-hmm,
If you really believe in Ifa and there's certain things that need to be done and your intention is right, certain things will happen really, really quick on your behalf.
mm,
But also, a lot of people, and before, I'm gonna take a step back. Before, and me and you, we were talking about this kind of, we kind of touched on this topic off air.
mm-hmm,
But as people who want to step into Ifa, go and get a reading go and get divination from that Babalawo or Iyanifa.
mm,
Go and get a reading and really feel a vibe first.
yeah.
Go feel a vibe. Before we talk about doing any spiritual work or whatever, just go and feel a vibe to see exactly, what that is, or if you really want this person to be your spiritual leader. That's really, really important, because as you're stepping into it, you want your Ori, which is your head, to guide you to the right person that can lead you to your destiny.
Mm, I sure.
So before we talk about anything and anybody getting into Ifa, like go and get a reading first. That's major, so you can really feel and be like, okay, yeah, this is the person that I know, and I can feel their energy, I can feel their essence and their aura, and I can genuinely feel that they care about me.
Mm,
And I was talking to someone about Ebo Riru, right?
mm-hmm,
And I was like, man, for a service priest to really sit down and do Ebo Riru for you, they have to care about you,
mm-hmm.
because
Right.
that's part of the process of what we have to do. So at the end of the day, man, that's not a 10-minute process. You
Mm,
know what I mean? So at the end of the day, you have to really see exactly, okay, this person cares for me. This is where I want to be.
right.
Period, point blank, man. That's the first thing you need to do, and let your Ori guide you.
Mm.
For sure.
Nah, I love that answer, man, because it's extremely spot on too with something that I've done with over the last couple of weeks.
Mhm.
So I've had a couple of new clients that I've taken on in terms of doing that type of work with, and it kind of it made me feel proud in some ways, but then pissed off in other ways about the experiences that they've had prior to, in terms of like when they did consult and get divination and, just hearing like how the other people were like what they were giving them in terms of the results of their, consultation. I'm just like, are you serious? Like that's all they gave you? Like, they ain't tell you nothing else. And that's it. Yeah,
Yep.
I'm like, wow, but it was refreshing to hear how much more I feel like insight, clarity, and just like a whole overall breakdown of, you know, what the whole message really was. And so it was night and day in comparison of what it was before to what they actually received. So they was like, wow, that makes a whole lot of a difference, because before it was just like, don't do this for like 14 days and that's it. You know, like, that's it. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, wow. But, you know, so it's like that to me is definitely extremely important. It reminds me of like two things. One, it's like you never buy a car without test driving it first. And if you do, if you have access to a mechanic, you know what I'm saying, or somebody who knows about a car, bring them with you on the test drive. You feel me? And so then, and looking at it through that light, everybody who is a member of this community, everybody who's a supporter of these channels, like, y'all have us here. So if you go and do a test drive, and if it don't sit right, don't feel right, throw a comment, you know what I'm saying? Or, you know, holler at us on the socials and be like, yo, does this look right? Does this feel right? Because, you know, that's something that it can be kind of like overseen, or trying to just like at least get a second bird's eye view on what it is that, you know, you got. And if it didn't sit well or feel right, maybe take it to someone else and get a second opinion, kind of like just like a, you know, mechanic, you know what I mean? So it's like, because as Nee was saying, you want to make sure that you have a strong relationship with someone who has good, strong energy, that you know is going to be someone who you can kind of trust to bring you along that path. But and on the flip side, though, which I'm sure you can kind of attest to this too, Baba Nee, is like when you're dealing with, I'll say, practitioners who have already established, you know, even a small elay, or have established, you know, themselves where they have godchildren, they do have maybe an elay. It's not as easy for them to be able to kind of address every single concern every single time, because they get extremely busy. You know, I learned that on my process, that it's, you know, you got to kind of get them when you can, but don't take it personal if they didn't get to you, because more than likely they're working with other people, you know. So that's another thing that I see that's a challenge when people do find, you know, good godparents or people who, you know, service them for their spiritual needs. Sometimes it's hard for them to actually get the services they need when they need it, because that particular practitioner or, you know, priest or priestess may be extremely busy because of their client load, or because of their, you know, the load of running their elay. So, you know, that's another kind of thing that is pretty tough to deal with. So how would you advise people to kind of deal with that if, you know, people come across that type of situation where they do have someone that they're comfortable with, but they're really busy because they have either a big tribe or they have a large, you know, they already have a large clientele base?
Be patient. You know, Ifa is about patience. We have to have the utmost patience for, especially, you know, service priests. You know, being a service priest comes with great responsibility, because you have to tend to so many people.
Right.
You know, and, you know, especially, you know, service priests who have, you know, big, you know, elays and whatnot, or, you know, temples. Um, so you definitely want to practice patience with that, because, um, you know, you don't want to try to bother a person when they're in a spiritual setting, or, you know, trying to help someone else, because you wouldn't want that to happen to you, you know, if you were in their shoes, you know. And like I said, you know, these are there are a lot of service priests who really care about people and their well-being. So they have to deal with people with a gentle hand, you know. But if you try to manipulate that particular service priest, it can have a negative effect on you, because they're genuinely looking out for people. You know what I mean? And you get people who get upset, or, you know, they want things the way that they want them, or want answers when they want them. You know, but that's not what Ifa is about. It's like, yo, when they're able to get to you, they're able to get to you. But you have to have patience. You know what I mean? And if you can't get in, and most times, you know, they have elays where there's like more than one service priest in
Right.
the actual elay or temple itself. You know, so it's nothing to, you know, call, you know, another priest that's actually a service priest that could help you with the question that you may have, or, you know, whatever. And there may be someone that may not be a service priest that can help you out as well, but they may just be, you know, an Orisha priest, or whatever. But they may be able to guide you. but that's the purpose of having, community.
That's right.
For sure.
That's what's up. Yeah, no, that's real. That's real. And I definitely agree with everything that you said. And another thing too, because this is something that I've seen, and it's very unhealthy, and I think it could be extremely dangerous. But I know sometimes there are people who they have this, I don't know, I guess it's definitely a lack of patience, but also sometimes people, and I don't even know if they know that they're doing it, or if they do know that they're doing it, if they know why they're doing it. But sometimes people will have I'll call it emotional hijacking, where they get upset because they didn't get what they wanted at the time they wanted it, right? And then from there, sometimes they might either speak ill on, whoever that person was that didn't service them when they wanted it or how they wanted it, or they might not even speak ill on them, but they might think ill thoughts or ill things. Can you kind of share how that is unhealthy, and then also like what's some of the possible like ramifications for people who do, give like unsolicited negative energy or negative thoughts or negative talk towards someone that they didn't get what they wanted from them when they wanted it or how they wanted it? Because I do know also that is something that is unfortunately it's powerful, because some people have a gift that they don't even know, where they can cast spells just by speaking things, and then that can that can essentially kind of have some ill effect on the next person who they're speaking that that negative energy on. So, and then you also have other forces that are kind of in line with whoever that person may be, especially if it's a spiritual leader, that have a duty to kind of protect this entity, this energy of this particular leader, kind of like the Secret Service with the president. So you got to be careful, because then it could be kind of like some sort of reaction to the action, and it could have been something that wasn't necessarily intentional, but it did happen. So can you kind of speak to how things like that might unfold, for some people that might not know exactly how serious that is?
Ifa is a spiritual boomerang.
Well, look, the universe is definitely, just like karma says, as above, so below, as within, so without. What goes around comes around. But and that's just a universal aspect. Now, could you kind of elaborate on Ifa being the boomerang? Because I know that goes a lot deeper.
Yeah, because so when you're dealing with it, especially spiritual leaders, but it's not just even spiritual leaders.
It's just life, humans in general, really.
Humans in general. And I talked about this, on another episode, man. But it goes back to, looking at not knowing exactly what that person walks with. Everyone has an Odu, whether you're any file or you're not, because an Odu is your road. We don't know what road this person has. So who are we to speak on that? So if we know that the universe and also Ifa is a boomerang, we have to be careful with our Ofo Ashe, which is the things that we speak out of our mouths. Because even the people who speak, they don't know how powerful their words are. So we have to be mindful. And then on top of that, you don't know how powerful your thoughts are. You don't know how powerful this spiritual leader that's in his position. You don't know how powerful their Ofo Ashe is. You know what I mean? You don't know how powerful their thoughts are and their thought process. And I tell, especially a lot of men. There are a lot of men. And I'm going to speak on the Iami, which are the mothers of the night. I was always taught to never have 3 or more women mad at you at one time. You got 3 or more women mad at you at one time, it's a problem for your life. If you have 3 or more women mad at you at one time, you need to have at least 3 or more women that love you and care about you and are speaking highly of you to give your life balance. there are a lot of men out here who don't understand that impact. If you're with a woman and you treat her wrong, and she goes and talks to her friend, and then she adds her other friend in the group chat, and they add another friend in the group chat, and they're all having negative thoughts about you, it's not good for you.
Mm-hmm.
So on a spiritual realm, man, we have to look at what that is, man, and the ramifications of how we speak and what we think. Bro, it's not good for your life.
That's real.
So like we have to protect ourselves and be careful with the things that we say. If we can speak negativity, we can speak more positively about certain things or people. And if we don't have anything good to say, don't say nothing at all.
Facts.
You know what I mean? Nobody is perfect. We all make mistakes. But at the end of the day, you can at least try. You know what I mean? Even if it's one of those things where if you work a job and you do your job and you go home. You know what I mean? Like life becomes a lot more peaceful, and then it'll eliminate certain people out of your life as well. That's not supposed to be there because you're protecting your energy.
Right.
You know what I mean? So as you see, service priests and stuff like that out there, service priests can't turn anybody down. If someone comes to them and they need help, they have to help that person, especially if they're calling them and asking them for help.
Right.
You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, man, but we definitely have to watch, what we say about people, man, because you don't know what people walk with. It's not
real.
okay.
Yeah, that's real. Yeah, I've seen some very unfortunate events happen to people who did wrong by people that they had no idea, who those people were connected to in the spiritual realm, in the ancestral realm, in the Egbe. And to see it, I've seen it multiple times. I've seen it happen in my life, and I've seen it happen in people who I'm close to in their lives. And it's like, yo, it's like I won't go into details on here, but I'm sure you got stories too. But there was one time I'm like, yo, it happened quick too.
You know what, man? And not to cut you off, but I just seen a video. I guess it went kind of viral.
Mm-hmm.
But this guy, he was filming his girl.
Mm-hmm.
Filming his girl and her friend on social media.
Mm-hmm.
He had put it on social media, but he was filming them, and it was, I guess, his ex and her friend, they were egging his car. But little did they know, he was doing work for Ogun. He had just got done doing some Ogun work. They roll up in the car, they start egging it, and he's filming them on camera, and he's like, yo, I just got done doing Ogun work, and they have no idea. So they're egging it. He walks outside, and the girls, they hop back in the car, they speed off, bro. Within 2 seconds, it was another car that came, boom, and totaled out the car.
Were they okay?
I don't know.
Oof.
After that happened, the video ended. But like I said, it goes back to, you don't know what people walk with. That guy may have had really good intentions, and this girl and her friend went over out of whatever animosity, and they went and egged his car, and they had to deal with the ramifications of him doing that, of them doing that.
Yeah. It's a real thing, man. It's a real thing, brother. It's a real thing.
You know what I mean? And that doesn't, stuff like that, we don't see it happen, quote unquote, all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, we've seen things happen, because the person that you're talking about may have really, really good intentions.
Right.
And they have the favor of Olodumare that you
have
no clue about. And Olodumare is, we talk about God.
Right. Yeah, and that's real. And I think even from a just a human perspective, if you think about it, if you really, and to go back to how we even started, if you really have good intentions about life and about your experience in life, you really shouldn't really be thinking about nobody in a negative light anyways, because if you really have good intentions and you really have pure intentions in terms of how you want your relationship to be with God, you should look at every other human being as a child of God and a product of the creator of the great God in heaven anyways. So if you know what I'm saying, if you're, giving that kind of love and support and respect to any other person, then I feel like that I think eliminates a lot of that negative karma that could kind of come your way. And don't get me wrong, there's gonna always be people out there who got haters. We all have them, you know what I'm saying? Like, and there's always people who ain't gonna like you. But at the end of the day, your haters thoughts about you and none of your business. You know what I'm saying? Because most of the time when people are hating, they really hating because there's something about you that they admire, or something about you that they want to be or want to have, or you know what I'm saying? But they haven't figured out how to work within themselves to get it for themselves. So they're gonna hate on other people because they have. So, you know, as long as you're doing your work for you and doing what makes you, you know, feel fulfilled and feel whole, like that's what it really matters for. Because at the end of the day, the creator knows our heart, you know what I'm saying? Ogun and Orie knows our heart, you know, and the Orisha know our heart. The ancestors know our heart and our intention. So when you put in that positive energy, that positive intention out there, it definitely will, for the most part, come back, you know, and continue to grow in your favor. So yeah, that's a real thing, man. I'm glad I asked that question because I know, you know, unfortunately there is, you know, some of that going on out there, man. But you got to be careful with the energy because the energies don't have forms, and you know they definitely are aware of everything, you know, that happens. So something to really be conscientious of.
Yeah, man, and you know what too. I want to ask you this question, but I had posted the clip where Oba was talking about you know, Ifa is not graduation, it's initiation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you know it made me think because you know a lot of people don't give their stories about or you know even a brief synopsis of going through Ifa initiation. You know, so I want to know, you know, for you, and you know, I'll piggyback off of it, but I want to know, you know, from you, what was your experience like? You know, coming back from Ifa initiation. What was, you know, that first, you know, 6 months to a year like for you?
Mm. Um, yeah, that's a good question. Let me see. So I ain't even neither one. Yeah, I'm 4 months out, but I'm gonna give you what I got in these last 4 months.
Well, four
Yeah,
months.
yeah, because we went in March. So
Yeah.
yeah, so it's just I literally just hit my 4 month mark. 1, 2, 3, about.
Well, you know what? Okay, you went through a Batala when?
I went through Obatala 2021, and then I
Okay,
went.
okay, so that's okay. So talk about that. We not. Let's not.
I could do.
Let's talk about. Yeah, you
I
can.
can do both if you want, but yeah, that's cool with me.
Both.
Whichever.
But definitely, you know, you can talk about both, man. I think that'll be dope. Because like I said, man, a lot of people need to know because everybody have you know different experiences. So I
Mm-hmm.
definitely, you know, but start with that Obatala piece first, and
Yeah,
then segue into E5.
gotcha. Well, I tell you what, it it was profound on so many different levels. Because the Obatala I knew was coming pretty much from my very first divination. I knew that, you know, it was pretty much set that this was my path, you know, this was my destiny. So I knew that. I didn't know how long and when, you know, it's going to actually take place, but I did know from the very beginning, from my very first consultation, divination with my godmother. But it was it was an adventure. It
Mhm.
definitely was an adventure. And I'll say, you know, before I even get into the whole, like a lot of the dynamics of the adventure, I want to share something that I give thanks to Baba Zo, you know, out of Oferio Chosi, Ile here in Tampa. But he gave me some words of wisdom, bro, that I'll never forget. And man, when I tell you that they was spot on, like they was spot on, like spots on a leopard, brother, because he is a Batala priest, and he was there for me pretty much for my journey, through each step of the process. And I just recall him telling me, the night before going, to pay homage to Yeye Oshun. I remember, when we got back, he told me, he said, brother, I'm gonna tell you this. He said, you're gonna go through some very beautiful, profound, special, almost miraculous moments. You're gonna have some light, some ashe, you're gonna have a lot. But I'm gonna also tell you this. You're gonna have some darkness, you're gonna have some challenges, you're gonna have some struggles, you're gonna have some mother, trying to like really try to take you away from your light. So I'm telling you now, prepare yourself, because everything is going to magnify everything. So it's just as the ashe is going to increase, the ashe, the ire, all the blessings, they're going to increase. But at the same time as those increase, the dark, the hate, the negativity, the trials, the tribulations, the adversity is going to increase too. So you are now going to be positioned to pretty much engage and communicate with the gods. They're going to give you tools that you're going to be equipped with. So now with that, you know what's coming. You know to expect this because it's going to happen. Now you got to, develop within yourself to be able to utilize and manipulate these tools to help you to not succumb to those challenges, to that negativity, and to these dark aspects that will be present, and they will be doing their best to try to take you from that light. And so it was a very profound conversation, and we've had many profound conversations, and I give thanks for him, for the role that he's played in my journey. But I'll say, the matter of fact, for those who don't know, Babalawo is on the intro of this song. When you see we sitting side by side, both of us with the locks. That's Babalawo, the one with the white locks on. So shout out to Babalawo. He's on the intro to the pod. But yeah, it was real. So for me, man, the negativity started before I even went in the room, bro. It was some crazy stuff happening before I went in the room. I think the car broke down like the day before I was supposed to go in the room, I believe. I mean, literally. And there was several other things I can't even remember that was wild. It was like, yo, it's really like trying to stop me from, fulfilling my destiny. So, but I pushed through, went through the ceremony, and the ceremony was powerful. It was very powerful. I never could have imagined that it would have been what it was. There's limited details we can share, but it was powerful. It was profound. And I'll never forget it because it's still, even now, it's still surreal in some ways because I didn't see any of this happening or coming, but I'm grateful for it, because it does put you in a position where you have to literally, it's either all or nothing with your faith. And what I mean by that, for those who like listening to motivational videos or who are into business or whatever, but there's a metaphor in business or personal development that says sometimes if you really want something, you got to burn the boats. And what that means is like, if you really want to go all in for something, you got to go to an island and be ready to take that island over so you can actually, solidify yourself and to claim that island as yours. So when I mean by island now, I'm talking about in terms of faith or in terms of relationship with the creator or with your deity, with the owner of your head or all these different aspects of claiming, your island. So when you come to that point in life where it literally is all or nothing, because the person who goes into that room is not the person who comes out of that room. And so now you have to really have the mentality and the mindset that, yes, this is all or nothing, and you have to go all in. And so in doing so, that I think gave me the faith and the conviction that this was definitely not only my path, but it was my destiny. And, that I'm all in with whatever happens, however it unfolds. But, coming out of the room, though, it was like, bro, coming out of the room after Obatala, like when I came out, I remember just like, wow, just taking a deep breath, like being able to come out. And we had to do a couple of things with my godmother and my Ajibona before they let me go home. But I just remember the lights. The lights were so bright, bro. It was like, to me, I've never done anything like a ayahuasca, mushrooms, or nothing like that. But what I've heard from people about those experiences, like a psychedelic experience where like the colors and everything is so vibrant and bright and just kind of like, what I'm saying? It's almost like the elements of nature are like dancing in like a glowing light of, what I'm saying? Like just a different type of light. And I remember like a lot of everything was just like that. Like it was just like so bright and I could see energy and it was dope. And get home and try to get back to normal, and stuff just started coming, like, you know what I'm saying, the good and the bad. So the blessings came, but the crazy stuff came too. But I think through it all, to kind of sum it up, it was an experience and a transformation that you could never really, I guess, know the true feeling of it unless you actually went through it and experienced it. But I will say that the God definitely let me know that not only am I a child of his, but also that he has always been there, always is here, and always will be there. And I've seen that in multiple ways, from just based upon how my path has changed, in terms of the trajectory from where I was to where, I aspire to be. So it was a very, very powerful ceremony. It was a very powerful experience. And, it creates, I feel like, a level of, for me, it created like another level of commitment and another level of dedication to not just Orisha and Ifa, but also to my own personal journey, and then also a commitment to the journey of service and being able to help other people, to hopefully find that same path and find that same journey, or at least find some sense of clarity, on the journey of life, or on the journey to developing a relationship with God. So that part was definitely something that I feel like was it was magical, and it was special in so many different ways, because it really was a transformation. It's really hard to kind of put it, to nail it down, and to really just put one kind of specific answer to it. But that's like the best I can explain it. It was definitely a very powerful transformation.
Wow. So would you say the same for Ifa?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, yeah. I debated on whether I would ever share this story, but I am, because I think this will really put it into perspective, and hopefully prepare people who haven't been through the process that will, and also to hopefully inspire some people who may have been through the process and may have experienced similar things. But yeah, if I was the same, it was identical. The problem started before I even went to the room. And mind you, we're going to Nigeria, so the day that we were scheduled to take off, me, Balogun, and Adeyinka, we were at the airport in Atlanta, and we are getting ready for our flight. There was a mishap with Baba and my ticket, and we didn't realize until it was time to board. So mind you, the flight is from, I think, Atlanta to, I want to say we were supposed to stop, I think, in Ethiopia was the first layover. And so get to the gate, and there's two sisters working at the gate, elders, probably, I don't know, maybe mid-60s. And they kind of, to me, I felt as if as soon as I let them know of the issue, they kind of like, well, it really ain't much we could do. I'm like, huh? Like, I got my email with everything, with my ticket, my confirmation, my, everything. So what happened is, like, they checked us in under the same ticket. And I've never seen nothing like that happen, but it happened. And so I tried to tell them I needed to just populate a new ticket for myself, but they act like they was helping me, but I know they wasn't helping me. And their energy, I could tell they wasn't helping me, because they kind of got nasty with me just by me asking them, for some help. And mind you, I greeted them like, "Excuse me, how you doing, ma'am? I need a little assistance with this, da da da." But long story short, they was like, they had some really negative, sour energy, bro. Like, so to really not go too far into detail for the sake of time, they pretty much, I missed my flight. And I'm just like, yo, this is crazy. And that was when Obatala also let me know how real he is, because the old Dre, the old Bammy wasn't that wouldn't have went too well. it wouldn't have went well at all, man. It wouldn't. I know, that's why I said Baba, he's always present, because he kept me cool. He kept me, in the right mind frame to be able to deal with it, and to, kind of just navigate through and take it. So long story short, I had to, not only did I miss the flight, but Baba and Adeyinka made the flight. All my bags was gone, so I had to go back, get a hotel, I had to get my car. It was crazy. I had to buy clothes. I had to buy everything to stay there for 2 days before I can get on the flight to go. So it started right then before I even left. The negativity and the stuff that I was warned about from Baba Zo. So anywho, fast forward, get to Africa, amazing experience, amazing ceremony. But yeah, I felt the similar energy as I did with the Obatala initiation. But the difference with E5 was, that was something that was a dream come true, but it was just so much more profound in terms of that quote where they say you got to go through some things to get to some things. You know what I'm saying? Like that was literally like the epitome to me of what that whole situation was. Because it's funny that you spoke about the Yami and Yaj, because when I went back to the hotel room in Atlanta, I got a book that Baba gave me that's about the Yaj and the Yami, and I feel like, unfortunately, it wasn't destined for me to go with them at that time on that flight, because I had to sit with the mothers and like literally spend time with them. So when I got into that book, bro, I'm not exaggerating. I literally read the book pretty much the whole time, because I didn't know you. I didn't know really. I mean, I know people up there, but I wasn't even in the mood to really be around them because I was so blown. Like, bro, how does this happen? Like, how does this happen in this moment? One of the biggest moments of my life, this happens. You know, so it's like the mothers pulled. They calmed me down, and they like, come talk to us. So I read that book and got, I don't know, like maybe 80, 70, 80, 100 pages into it those 2 days, and it kept me glued to the book. But it really taught me a lot about what to expect when I get there, on top of a lot about the feminine energy and the mothers, the IJ, the Yami. And it was a magical moment, man, because I was able to see the glass half full instead of half empty, and to take those lemons and make lemonade out of it. And then for that, I felt like I was an even better person going, because I know that I had to pass that test. You know what I mean? I felt like I was being tested, and I had to pass the test. And so when we get over there, the rest is history. Because what I will say is that if you gave me a pen and told me to write out a script of how I wanted my first trip to Africa to unfold, I couldn't have wrote it better than what it actually did. So that within itself showed me that everything Baba Zoe told me before that first one, it literally kind of like really defined everything that he told me. So I say all that to everybody listening. It's going to be struggles. It's going to be ajagun. It's going to be negativity. It's going to be, you know what I'm saying? It's going to be roadblocks. It's going to be all kind of stuff that's going to try to come in your path and come in your way. But if you stay persistent, you stay diligent, and you truly do have intention, and you have that faith of what Nia was talking about when we first started, the creator will show you the power of the creator, and that everything not only will manifest, everything that's supposed to be will be. So we always can get what we work for. We might not get what we want when we want it, but we get what we want when we're supposed to have it. And that's kind of like the silver lining of what I took out of that entire experience. So it was powerful, brother.
Wow.
It was
Yeah, the average person, man, would have probably folded.
Yeah. Baba said he thought I wasn't gonna come. He's like, man, for a minute, I didn't think you was gonna come. I was like, man, I waited all my life for this moment, Baba. I wasn't feeling like that stuff.
Man, bro.
Yeah, it was real.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know, man. It's a journey, man. Like people see, people see, people coming out of Ifa, and coming out of different Orisha priesthoods, and things may look good on the outside.
Yeah.
On the inside, woo, you know what I'm saying? Like, so, cause yeah, bro, like even for myself, I went through, and it's very interesting because you talked about how you went through Obatala in 2021,
Mm-hmm.
and fast forward to 2024. That was a big gap for you.
Mm-hmm.
So for myself, going through two priesthoods back to back,
Mm-hmm.
3 days apart, man, the stuff that I went through, even before I went to Nigeria, bro, it was insane.
Oh,
It
I
was
can
truly
imagine.
insane.
I can imagine.
But coming back, man, it's like the energy that I'm having to navigate coming back, and this, the Shango energy, mixed with
Yeah.
Ifa is like, oh man, bro, it's been like, when you talk about a journey, like it's been a journey,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, man, I can't even really put it into words. I've been through every emotion, like literally, from the time when I hopped on that plane, I went through every emotion possible coming back to Atlanta.
Mm. I can imagine.
You know what I mean? Like, bro, when I mean every emotion, like, man, I was like, yo, what's happening? Like, why am I feeling like this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you know, now I'm what, 9 months, you know, coming back, and it's been a lot of changes made. You know, a lot of people that I used to talk to, I don't talk to anymore. You
Yeah.
know, the former business that I was in, I'm not in that field anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and all of this happened before I came back.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it was different because it's like you're used to, you know, I was used to traveling all the time, bro. I was
Mm-hmm.
gone. We got this show to do and that show, you know, but you know, and booking venues and, you know, meeting with people all the time, to now where it's like everything is Ifa,
Mm-hmm.
because this is what I asked for.
Mm.
You know, and I was telling someone, man, they were like, man, you know, what made you want to become a Babalawo, or, you know, um, let alone, you know, a Shango priest?
Mm.
I was like, man, I've been waiting on this since I was 4 years old.
Wow.
From
Mm.
4 years old to the age of 30,
Mm.
going into 31.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like, and, you know, I was like, it takes like I said in the beginning, it takes another level of patience.
Mm.
You know, and my parents didn't have to force Ifa on me. You know what I mean? Like, they didn't have to do that because this is what I genuinely wanted to do.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like, Ifa has to be in you. Like, this is something that, you know, and so for even for my parents, or, you know, my parents, my grandparents, like, they're able to sit back and be like, man, like, you're doing it. You're gonna uphold the legacy and you're gonna push us forward. You know what I mean? Because, like I said, it was something that I always knew intuitively, you know, as a kid, like, man, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. You know, out of all the basketball that I was playing, or um, you know, traveling around and all that good stuff, man, I was like, I was always, you know, servicing people. Even when
Mm.
I was playing ball, I was still training.
Right.
You know what I mean? I was training because I like to help people. Like, that was one of my gifts. You know what I mean? Like, so with that, I was like, man, NBA goals, nah. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, you know, that's just, you know, that was, you know, a really, really big part of, you know, my journey when it comes down to that, man. I've been waiting on this for a long, 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 long
Mm. I say. Nah,
time.
nah, that's dope. And you know what? That brought up a couple of questions that I have for you. And it's been a similar theme. You know, last week was a profound week, man. We had some very, very powerful guests. You know, guests that had some very powerful, explosive energy and positive energy on top of that. And Oba, I was so impressed with him. There's gonna be like 3 or 4 shows that's gonna come out where I'm talking about him or referencing, you know, the conversation, because like I told you before, I was extremely impressed with him, and he was exactly what you told me he was. You know what I mean? Like when you told me about him and you made the connection for the interview, I just recall what you mentioned to me, and then when I actually spoke with him, I'm like, yo, this is exactly what what he told me, and it's so refreshing to see young brothers like him, man. I'm telling you, because I see all the bullshit and the foolishness that's going on, you know, in the world, and social media, and especially the entertainment, this genocide music that, you know, they're encouraging our young brothers and sisters to put out. And to see somebody like him, he's a unicorn. You know what I mean? Like, and I love it, because it's like that on top of, you know, some of the youth that I see when I'm in the communities or I'm in the schools that I speak to. They give me a ton of hope and a ton of inspiration, knowing that, yeah, overall from the outside it might look like they ain't doing nothing, don't have nothing together. But when I see young brothers and, you know, sisters like him, and even younger than them, who have a similar mindset or mentality, I'm like, shit, you think that way if you want to, bro. You have no idea the souls that are inhabiting this planet right now. The Creator sent the most powerful souls to come to this planet at this time right now, because we're in one of the most dire times of this planet. So it takes a special group of army, you know what I'm saying, of souls to form an army of God. And I feel like it's already here. And I see the light with young brothers and sisters like him, you know, at a young age, that's thinking so far advanced, you know what I mean? And like operating from such a much higher perspective in terms of like their whole entire beingness. I'm just like, yo, this is phenomenal. But I say all that to say, because both of you came from families that literally you came out of the womb, like you were in Ifa from the very beginning, right? So one of the things that came up, and I'm making sure that I document to get them right exactly how I want them. During the call with the sisters, the Ori sisters, they were speaking about how there's a lot of people who are going to Nigeria or even maybe getting initiated in the States that are going and getting initiated and then coming back and calling themselves starting elays and taking on godchildren and, you know, just like doing the most. And I've seen it. I have my thoughts and opinions on it. And I really would like to get your opinion on something like that, because yeah, you just got initiated a few years ago, but technically you were literally raised in Ifa. And that is a whole nother dynamic in terms of your whole experience of Ifa, because you didn't just find out about this 5-10 years ago and then, you know, you calling yourself Babalawo or Shango priest or Gungun priest or whatever. You really were being trained as a priest from the time you were born. It just took a couple of decades before you actually got the so-called, I can say so-called, you actually got to the point where you got the crowning of the actual ceremony for that particular ashe for those three societies. However, you were still molded, cultivated, nourished, and, you know what I'm saying, groomed from the time of birth. So what are your thoughts when you see people who do go and get initiated and then come right back and they're divining, they're taking on godchildren, they're opening elays? What do you feel about that?
Oh, like I said, it's a boomerang. You have to know, you have to be knowledgeable, and you have to get the access from your godfather or godmother to push forward with even having students. You know what I mean? So, and in America, there's a rat race. There's a rat race to become Babalawo. There's a rat race to become Yanifa. You know what I mean? And even Orisha priest. It's this rat race that people just, they got to get it out their system, and they like, okay, well, I got the money, I can go and, you know. But if your intention isn't right, you, when you come back, it'll get exposed one way or another that you're not doing the work properly for the people that you call your quote unquote students. And it's a slap in the face to not only the people that's coming to you for help, but it's also a slap in the face to the people that helped you become that. It's a slap in the face to Oludumare. It's a slap in the face to Orumila. It's a slap in the face to all the divinities that look over us. So if you don't think that that backhand gonna be something crazy, because at the end of the day, man, it's and I've been using this word lately, man, it's blasphemy to not have the knowledge and to come back trying to have students. When you lack the knowledge, you lack the permission. It's you're not, you don't care about your life in that moment, because spirituality is not something that you play with. You know what I'm saying? We're not here to quote unquote help people and get money. Like, this is not some get rich quick scheme.
That's
not
facts.
what it's about.
That's facts.
A lot of people want to, they're like, oh man, well, I seen this person charge, $500 for this elbow, and I seen this and that. But it's like, yeah, man, you can't look at what you see and expect that, and then come back home and expect that, oh, okay, well, I'm gonna get what they got.
Right.
Nah, that's not the way Ifa works.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You have to be knowledgeable. You have to get the permission. You have to go through the proper rites of passage in order to have students, and you have to get that permission, man. Like it's you have to, bro. You have to, because if not, you won't have the protection from the divinities at all. So everything that you went through in Nigeria or wherever you got initiated at, you went through it for nothing. Because now you're officially on the wrong side of your Odu. And you don't want to be on the wrong side of your Odu. Ifa tells you your path, and if you're supposed to become a service priest one day, cool. Gain the knowledge, go through the proper rites of passage to do that.
Right.
Don't just think that, because because this is in my Odu and my Baba or whoever told me that I'm supposed to be doing this, that you're supposed to do it right away.
Right.
You don't have any knowledge. Nah, that's not how it works.
That's
So
right.
it's a slap in the face to all the people that helped you along the way as well. Going through that initiation process, man, is it's a lot of hands and feet. There's a lot of minds that are working to get you through what you need to go through.
Yeah. Nah, that's real, man. And it kind of it's kind of I can't even think of the right word, because initially I was gonna say it's kind of disheartening. I won't say it's that, but when it's, I wish better for people. I put it that way, because at the end of the day, I feel like that type of energy or that type of mentality it goes back to, I feel like, even though you may have went through an initiation, there's still a lot of healing that you need to do, and a lot of self-reflection, and a lot of really getting to know thyself. Because I feel like a true person who really knows themselves and knows their path and knows what's right and what, what I'm saying, what this whole Isese, Ifa, Orisha community, and this whole system is about, that this whole entire construct is not about me, it's about we. You know what I'm saying? You can't do anything by yourself with this. Nothing. Like literally nothing. You can't do it by yourself, because it takes a tribe in order to be successful in any way, shape, or form when it comes to this particular tradition. And myself included, that's one thing that I'm adamant about, is like not doing anything without not only having the blessings of the elders, but also having the consultations, and what I'm saying, the classes and the courses of the elders, and I guarantee you, Baba can tell you many times where I'm calling and texting him, to get that counsel. Baba Karaday can tell you many times where, I'm calling and texting him to get the counsel, because I feel comfortable with where I'm at, even though I'm still new in my journey. And for those who have been around it like you know that it really takes a good 7 years before you're considered, and I mean 7 consistent years of putting in the work on a day-to-day basis to be considered a true, trained, tried, and tested Babalawo. And I would dare to say the same thing for an Orisha priest, because it's so much to learn. It's not even, I don't even think that it's possible unless you got the limitless pill, or you know what I mean, you got like the dude from X-Men, I forgot his name, the one Magneto, or who, the one that could read the minds and all that. Like I don't see how you're able to like ingest and to like really disseminate the type of information, and then to be able to put it into play, and to put it into action the proper way after you just get back from either initiation. I just don't see how that is even a thought, to be honest. But it's happening. So for those who are listening, if you do deal with an Orisha priest or Ifa priest or priestess, do some due diligence, man. Get some resumes. You know what I'm saying? Like get who, find out who trained them, or find out who initiated them at least. You know what I mean? To like just see, or ask them to show you some sort of verification of what they've learned or what they know or what they've done. So that way, at least you have not just their telling you whatever they do and they offer, but also somebody who they should have, that kind of molded them or trained them or coached them on their journey to co-sign for them too. Because that's something that's an easy way I feel like you can kind of get out of not going to someone who really is not who that they say that they are. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I want to touch on this really quick, but there's a lot of people who want to know about Ifa but don't want to be in Ifa.
What do you mean by
So there's people who want to know about Ifa, they want to know the aspects of Ifa, they want to know the aspects of the Orisha, but they don't necessarily want to be in Ifa. They don't want to become Babalawo, they don't want to become Iyanifa, they don't want to become Orisha priest. But they just want to know the aspects and the elements. So there are people out there who want to buy Oshun pots, buy Ogun pots, buy all. You can get all of this stuff online, but I'm here to tell you that there's certain things that goes on inside of those pots that you won't have anything. You won't know the half of what it takes to get one of those pots. So, and then what they have to do with the pots in order for them to be activated.
Facts.
So for those of you who want to know about Ifa, but don't want to be inside of what that is, don't walk around trying to get Orisha pots because you don't want to be inside of Ifa. Don't do that. It's not okay. Maybe hear people read up on the Orishas and they read up about, and they're like, "Oh, I want this energy in my house," but you don't even know what energy that is.
Right.
You know what I mean? So for those of you out there that just want to nitpick on the things that you think that you need, and you want to watch certain people online and talk about Ifa, listen, you don't even know the half. You don't know the half. I'm telling you. So you're hearing this here on the Isese Post because we're going to give you real, raw, authentic information.
Facts.
Because at the end of the day, man, we're not here to steer people the wrong way. We're here to protect our people. So if you want to know about Ifa, you want to be a part of an Ile, definitely write us in the comments. Hit us on our social media if you want to know more, you want to be educated, and you want to take that first leap, go ahead and do it. Please do not go out and buy these pots expecting them to work on your behalf.
Definitely. Do it with guidance, man. And I'm going to share 2 quick stories of how devastating that can be, if someone does do stuff like that. One of them, I literally was just having this conversation the other day, but I used the analogy that a person who goes to a botanica and buys elekes or buys pots and call themselves self-initiating, I'm pretty sure you probably heard that wild phrase before too. I don't know what that's about and where it came from, but please don't call yourself self-initiating anything, because the way I equate that, someone who does something like that is someone going to a job interview to drive semis saying that they have a CDL and somehow create a fake license and get the job, and you driving down the road and you mess around and have a catastrophic rollover that not only can take your life but take many lives of people around you. Like, that's how devastating that can be. So it's a really serious thing, and I mean that in so many different ways, because I'm not familiar with where this story was, but I remember somebody telling me about it, and I do believe I Googled it or looked it up, and I saw that it was a true story. But there was a story that unfolded, I don't know, within a couple of years ago, where I believe it was a white lady, a European chick, that was so-called calling herself conjuring Eshu or Egbe. And they said she was doing some type of, I don't know what she was doing. She was like trying to do some type of spell or trying to invoke him or whatever. Long story short, I believe like the day after she made, and I think she made a video or a post about something. I think like the day after that, they found her dead. And, and I'm not saying that Eshu or Legba is a killer, but I do know, like, when you're playing with real gods and deities and entities that are real, these aren't things that we make believe. These ain't things that we kind of drawn up from some imaginary story or something like that. This is real. These are real deities and real gods. So it's like that. When I heard that story and saw, I'm like, yo, that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? But it goes back to what we started in the very beginning of the show. It goes back to intention. What is your intention?
Yo, did I tell you about the story of the bee and the wasp?
I think we did. I think we just talked about that the other day. Yep. I think you should go ahead and drop that on them, because that, listen, That's the perfect way to drop the mic after.
Yeah, we're gonna after this we're gonna drop the mic and we're gonna exit stage left.
That's a perfect way to drop the mic after, like, yes, share that for the people.
Okay, so
say louder for the people in the back.
Yeah. So I was the other day I was with a wise man, and this wise man we were talking about us being able to sit with the elders. And mind you, this guy, he's almost 70 years old, but he was like, man, do you know the story of the bee and the wasp? I was like, no. So he was like, so what happened is that the wasp went to the bee because he wanted to learn how to make honey.
Mm-hmm.
So the wasp went to the bee. Okay, so the wasp went to the bee and was like, hey, I want to learn how to make honey. Mm-hmm. So what ended up happening is that the bee agreed to it. So the bee was like, the first thing that I'll do is that I'll show you how to make a nest. So he showed him how to, because when you look at a wasp nest, it looks almost similar to a bee, right? To a bee's. So he showed him how to make a nest, and after that, the wasp came back. And the wasp came back, and the bee was like, okay, so you got that down. So here I'm going to give you a stinger for protection.
Mm-hmm.
So when he gave him the stinger, the wasp flew off. The bee was like, hey, where you going?
Right.
He was like, well, I got all the protection that I need. I got all the tools, you gave me everything. So the bee sat back and was like, he doesn't know that I didn't teach him how to make honey. So this, it falls in line with, like I said, the people who try to know about Ifa, know about Orisha, but don't get the honey. We have to get the honey.
That's facts.
You know what I mean? Like you think you're thinking that you're getting something when you don't have all the tools.
Right.
You don't have the community.
Right.
So at the end of the day, that was the reason why I told that story, man, because we have to be willing to when we listen to certain people and we get certain information, we can't think that we have everything and we don't get the finishing touches of what we need. So for those that are aspiring to get BNE5, go full steam ahead with it. Don't play with it. Don't sit around and try to get certain tools that you think may help you. Go full steam ahead and do what you got to do. So, because clearly spirit is calling you to do so. So we're definitely going to wrap up with that. This is another episode of the Isese Post. We'll see you all on the next Oshe Shango Day. And we appreciate y'all tuning in. We appreciate the Balagoon Shango office for always sponsoring the show. So stay tuned in and Odabo.
Odabo, Kabiese, Obakoso.
Chill.
Gosh.